everyday luxury with Irasva to bringing global trends to India with clarity. Leshna Shah has truly become a trailblazer in the jewelry industry. As a visionary who balances creativity and business, she's just not a trendsetter, but also an inspiration for all new entrepreneurs. Lesha, I just want to ask you this first. What does Irasva mean?
Firstly, thank you for that lovely introduction. So, Irasva means, Ira in Sanskrit means indulgence and Swa means self. So, it's a combination of the two, which means self-indulgence.
Okay, now that we know what Irasva is, I have to tell you, I'm wearing these beautiful pieces that's from Irasva. You know, when I saw them, I thought that they're very heavy. But when I wore them, they're so comfortable. I don't feel like I'm wearing something. Is that what Irasva stands for? Comfort?
So, Irasva is all about design aesthetics with comfort in terms of making sure that when you're wearing the piece, it accessorizes you and doesn't give you discomfort. Like when just to give you an anecdote, when I used to wear jewelry like the way you're wearing during when I got married, I remember after 3 days my ears were like bleeding because it was so heavy. So I think when we design our jewelry pieces, we lay a lot of emphasis on making sure that we give the look, but in a way where it's very comfortable for the person to wear.
Absolutely, it feels very comfortable. Thank you for that. Okay, let's go back in time. Now tell me, where did this passion for jewelry start? And why did you think of doing something like this?
So I think from early childhood, I think for me it was very important to create my own identity, do something independently. And I was always in a space where I loved creativity. I wanted to be able to express myself. So the idea of starting the jewelry came from an interest actually in colored stones. So my first journey started with colored stones, and then I got introduced to the creation of jewelry and the culmination of colored stones into metal. And what fascinated me was how 2D turned into 3D. And that's where the passion to kind of enter this field, to be able to express myself, to create a space on my own, and sparked my interest.
And we know that Irasva is a brand from India and for the Indian market. But you also have something called With Clarity. Can you tell us what is With Clarity so that we can go ahead and tell more about what Irasva stands for, or what With Clarity stands for?
So I think I'm going to break that question down in a way where the parent company is basically RJL, Renaissance Global, and it exports. It's mainly an exporter. It's been the largest exporter of diamond jewelry out of India for the past 10 years. So Irasva, when we started out, was basically our vision of bringing a brand that covered the mid-product segment category. I had lived in America for a while. I had catered to international retailers over there. I designed for them within the organization. And when I came back to India, I found a little bit of a white space. There were jewelers that did like very pret jewelry, which was dainty, everyday pieces, really small pieces, and there were jewelers that did big occasion statement pieces. There was nothing that existed in the middle when I looked at the market as a consumer to go out and pick out jewelry pieces for myself, where it was a combination of design as well as something that I could throw on every day. So that was the vision to start Irasva here. And With Clarity was one of the, we are supply chain partners for With Clarity in the US. And we've got sole distributorship rights in India to be able to market their jewelry. What was unique about With Clarity was that it was a digital format in the US when we started out. It mainly, the highest number of sales are in anniversary bands and engagement rings. They do a spectrum of other product categories and as well. But the material that they used, the way it was curated, where the journey is all about empowering the consumer, the customer, to decide exactly what they want. So it's a journey where you're able to pick your color of the diamond, you're able to pick the cut of the diamond, color of your gold, caratage of your gold, and the mounting that you want, because all of this was digitally done.
Fully customized.
Fully customized. And another unique aspect of it was that in the world of conversation today where there is this conversation of lab created versus natural diamonds, with Clarity actually on its online portal sells both. So they have a feed where they do natural diamonds and they have a feed where they do lab created diamonds. And it's left up to the customer to decide whether they want that engagement ring, anniversary band, a red carpet piece in lab created diamonds or natural diamonds. And the reason to bring that to India here was there was a gap that I found in the engagement ring and the anniversary band section. Lot of people, when they get engaged, they don't have a store that they can go to say, I have a product line to see multiple designs to pick my engagement ring. It's normally very custom made. When someone walks into your store, is a customer before will say, I'm getting engaged, can you design something for me? But there was not ready products. So this was a way to kind of fill that white space.
Because you're talking about customizing your jewelry, do you have any memories of any client who have come to you and asked to customize the jewelry, but that particular piece is very close to your heart?
Customer service is a big focus at Irasva. It's part of our ethos. We focus quite a bit on it. There was a customer that entered our store and she had earrings that were heirloom earrings passed down by her grandparents, like her grandmom to her. And she said, I want to hold on to this, but I don't find wear and usage with it currently. Could you repurpose this in order for it to fit in my everyday routine or for it to fit in my aesthetic sense now? And we kind of converted those earrings, took that piece and made a necklace out of it.
Okay, going on to your personal life as well, because you are balancing everything so well, from being an entrepreneur to being a mom and also living in 2 different continents. How are you doing this?
What I tend to do in order to be able to be most productive and be able to achieve the goals that I set for myself, I think multitasking is a big one. Being a mom has taught me that. Being a mom of 2, I have a 20-year-old and I have a...
Can you believe it? I can't believe it.
She
has a 20-year-old.
I have a 16-year-old. And the second is to prioritize. Prioritization in terms of what is the need of the hour. Is it the need of the hour is to focus on my children today, then I will prioritize that. The need of the hour is to focus on my business today, then I will prioritize that. So, really trying to make a schedule and routine of how I kind of fulfill all those facets has helped me. I will say it is challenging, but I'm enjoying the process. I just go with the flow. I make sure to kind of clock my body in a way where, if I'm traveling from say London, currently I live in London, between London and India, I will kind of figure out, what time I'm landing, what my day looks like. So I schedule my sleep before I get on the flight. And, again, having said that, in terms of living in 2 countries is advantageous to a certain extent, because there's so much visual stimulation in terms of creativity when I leave Bombay and go back to London. Like London's filled with art fairs, like summer's coming up. There are major art shows, furniture shows. You see a lot of classical architecture there. There's different forms of design that you get stimulated by. And that helps me in terms of thinking of what I want to do next. It gives me some global information that I bring back, and then I kind of analyze, are we ready for it over here in India? To a certain extent, it gives me first mover's advantage as well.
This industry, we have seen a lot of jewelry designers who are female. But when it comes to business, it's a very male-dominated business. How do you see yourself making your way through this? And how do you do it?
I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit, but I'm also going to say...
You should give yourself a lot of credit.
But I'm also going to say that I was fortunate. I think, being married or being part of Renaissance Global has really helped me kind of within my entrepreneurial journey, because I started with a brand called Aurel, which was very bespoke pieces of jewelry. It's helped me in my process of becoming someone who thinks of jewelry also in a way where there is a business aspect involved to it. So it's not just about I created a piece of jewelry, and there's this amazing aesthetic style. How am I packaging it? Who am I speaking to? Who is my customer? What is something new that I'm giving? I think that process of starting my own brand versus some of the interactions with the international brands that we cater to, and you kind of learn from how they market, has helped me in this journey.
Irasva started in 2019. It's almost 5 years now. People always talk about the success. But what is one thing that they don't talk about is the failures. Because those failures has brought you here to this successful platform that you are in right now. So tell me a little about those moments throughout this business of Irasva.
So Irasva started in 2019, and it started, we launched the brand in order to, cover the mid product section category, which I explained before, and it was to get in everyday stylized pieces, and then the pandemic hit. So like every other retail organization, we kind of struggled because there was no walk-ins, there was no interaction with people were confined to their homes. But likewise, like in terms of how we did internationally, we kind of managed that by having touch points with our clients, by giving services. We had to think out of the box. So we did a lot of at-home services, we did a lot of video consults, and we actually did continue that. We still continue that within our organization even today. So we navigated that time, and I think right after the pandemic ended, once we restarted again, we actually did kind of change or shift our product categorization or category segment, just because a lot of the digital players had captured quite a bit of that market. Because people were sitting at home, but there was purchases, right? You had to have some feel good factor at that point. There were weddings that were happening, but it was in small setups. So we felt like the scenario had changed a little bit. Some of the digital players had started giving elevated stylized items on their platform, which is why then we shifted more to like every other day occasion jewelry, which was a little bit more elevated. The AOVs were higher. And we've now had a combination of that come into play. With that, I think the next step that we've got into is the introduction of With Clarity, which is an international brand. It is digital in the US, and it just launched its first brick and mortar store in Soho 10 months ago. And that again was to bring again a little bit of freshness into the brand. It carries everyday basics, it carries big engagement rings, anniversary bands. We don't have a lot of big pieces of jewelry in terms of like red carpet pieces of jewelry. It's available online. We don't stock it at our store, but it's completely accessible. So I think the idea is to make sure that you evolve with times. You find a solution to work through the challenges and ride those challenges.
As a person, I'm very digitalized. I do everything digitally, from making a payment, work from home, Zoom calls, everything. But when it comes to jewelry, I would always want an experience of walking into a store, touching my diamonds and then buying it, touching my jewelry, feeling it on my neck and buying it. I always prefer that. How do you see your clients, what do you see your clients going for? Do they prefer a store experience, or do you see the digital market taking over?
So again, I'm going to break that question down in two segments. Internationally, I think digital is doing really, really well. People are very comfortable in buying pieces of jewelry without touch and feel, and our average AOVs over there are between, I'm going to say it in dollars, between $2,500 and $3,000, which is normal. And we have pieces that have sold even for like $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 because the customer is comfortable, which is why when we started, and now again on the flip side, if I have to look at our Indian market, we've not actually launched the brand as a digital brand. We actually launched the brand in a reverse manner where it's brick and mortar first, because I just feel the audience here needs to touch, feel, see. Secondly, it was a combination of natural as well as lab grown diamonds. Mainly sales even internationally have been in the lab grown segment. Like if we sell one ring in natural, we'll be selling 50 rings in lab grown. So it's essentially the majority of the sales are in lab grown. But having said that, over here I feel like that the customer requires to get an understanding of who the brand is, what are they carrying, touch and feel, little credibility, where is the store. So I think it would be omni-channel, but a presence is required when you're introducing something new.
Absolutely. And you just said that lab grown diamonds sell more. than the real diamonds. I want to ask about Irasva. Irasva, does it have lab-grown diamonds or is it only pure diamonds?
So the way we have segregated this is Irasva pieces are all natural diamonds. We're not it's not like if someone walks into my store and says, can you make this Irasva piece into a lab grown? We're not doing that. We're not repurposing that. But With Clarity is the brand, and it's an international brand. That's the one that carries the lab created diamond pieces, and if someone wants it in natural, if it's a With Clarity design and style, we can repurpose it in, like we can make it in natural. If they want it in lab, we can make it in lab. So we've kind of segregated both the brands. This is like an experience within, it's like an experience within Irasva.
So when I walk into Irasva and I fall in love with Clarity, because I see some pieces here, do I order it online or do I get it here? This is for the people who would want to buy the jewelry. Tell us a little more about that. How can we get more pieces from With Clarity if they like it here in India?
So this is more like an experience studio, like an experience space of, running the client through the brand, what it's about, how do we sell, how do you customize. There is a certain amount of product category that has been displaced, that is readily available, and then there are lots of designs available online which we can then run through with the client. They can customize it on the screen if it's not available here. We can piece the piece together and it can be sold to them, and then it can be made in 10 days, 10 to 15 days. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Another thing that I found very interesting, before you came here, I went and saw this, is the multifunctional jewelries that you have. That can be worn as a neck piece, that can be worn as a bracelet. That's very interesting. Tell me a little about that.
So, just again, design, style, understanding a consumer. I think being a woman is kind of helpful as well, because you understand this buying psyche, and I sometimes put myself in that place. And in today's day and age, you have to at least when I look at it, I try to understand the emotion, right? Sometimes you want to purchase a piece because it's a discretionary buy. Sometimes you want to purchase a piece because it's an investment to you, or it's an heirloom piece that you want to hand down. Sometimes you want to purchase a piece because it's a statement, right? So I think when you see that was again, when you're in the non-bridal season, or there is seasons in India where, people look at particular kind of jewelry at a particular time, in order to break through that market, or in order to cut through that, in order to make sure that we have a varied product mix. We tend to design or tend to take our mood boarding in a way where we focus on jewelry that we can use in multiple manners. So with one piece of jewelry, the client can piece that thing together and it becomes a statement piece, can break it down and it can become a pret wear. So it's part of the design aesthetics for what is required in those months that we are designing for. So we focus on a lot of things and we evolve and change based on what we feel is the need of the hour.
And you're absolutely right, being a woman helps, because we know, jewelry that we are wearing for a wedding, it cannot be like we have to wear it next only for a wedding. I want to wear it so many times. And if you are watching, the neck piece that you're wearing, that can be worn as a bracelet. I have seen, I have worn it and I have checked it out and how it's done, and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the last question. Tell me, how do you see the future of Irasva? How do you see it growing, and also with Clarity?
So I think in the next 5 years, 10 years, plans are to grow Irasva into more stores. Also maybe bring an aspect of digital marketing into place. Right now we mainly sell out of our brick and mortar stores. We're in 4 cities, we have 2 stores in Bombay, 1 in Ahmedabad and 1 in Hyderabad. And also with Clarity, we've launched it only in the Bandra store right now. And again, the idea is to expand into more multi-city stores, also become digital and omni-channel in that sense. For myself, my goals are to stay close to, I want to kind of continue creating. I mean, I do a lot more of the business aspect right now, especially for the India market. I oversee more on a strategic level. So in the future, I do have plans to make maybe, a capsule collection of just curated pieces that truly allow me to express my creativity. And the last is when I have the chance in the near future, I've always loved working with young adults. I have a young adult, I have a 20-year-old daughter. At some point, maybe having some kind of a mentorship program to be able to share my experiences in terms of what my journey has taught me for some of the budding young entrepreneurs as well in this field.
Let me tell you, you are inspiring them already. So I think if you have a talk with them, it'll be great.
Thank you.
So we are all looking forward to that. Thank you so much. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having me here.